So there are always a bunch of questions people come to me and ask me about. The two that I get most often are, how do you play Destiny? What am I supposed to do? I just downloaded the game, but I have no idea where I'm supposed to go. It's a hard question to answer since the entrance to the game is much different than it was back when the game first launched. Ever since the introduction of New Light, which is Bungie's way of getting the players better acquainted with the world and the game. Honestly, kind of a dumb structure if you ask me, but hey, here we go again, Bungo. You always knew it would come to this. Since it's always rough for me to answer, I made an extra account and I hopped into New Light for myself just to see what it was like. Let's take a look. Before we start, I want to go ahead and thank the sponsor for this video, which is GamerSupps. If you want clean, high-octane, keto-friendly, sugar-free energy with zero crash, then check them out. They have amazing flavors that include 6 of your body's most important vitamins and minerals, as well as antioxidants and other ingredients to help you keep hydrated, along with the same amount of caffeine as a cup of coffee. You can get yourself a 100 serving tub for just $34, and you can get yourself 10% off by using my code ItsKBAlpha at the checkout. The link will be in the description. It's an amazing company. I highly recommend it, and I've been using their stuff ever since I found out about them. Trust me, you cannot go wrong with them. I also want to quickly mention that I discuss this topic and many other D2 related topics over on my Twitch, as well as guiding people through raids. If you're interested in joining us and meeting the community, then head on over to twitch.tv/ItsKBAlpha. I stream every day aside from Wednesday and Thursday, starting at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The world of Destiny was initially introduced through the structure of the campaign, but now starts you off with world quests, as I like to call them. However, you can skip all this by just picking up the campaign from your favorite grease monkey, Amanda Holiday. The campaign will essentially get you all set up and ready to go. If you don't want to do the campaign and display your proud masochistic side to the world, hey, I don't judge, then let's break down the various parts of the game. So the game initially starts you out with quests, which is basically, well, it's a quest. I'm a teacher, but I never said I was a smart one. Y'all brought this on yourself! The game is also highly based on your light level, which determines if you can participate in certain activities or deal more damage in certain situations and tank more damage while doing it. We'll talk about the various ways to raise that light level of yours later on. Quests will be found in your quest tab and will tell you exactly where you need to go or what you need to do, whether it be visit a favorite NPC, kill a certain number of enemies, and whatnot. It will also tell you to go complete various numbers of activities, be it your patrols, adventures, missions, strikes, Crucible, Gambit, or even a raid. We'll be breaking down each of these piece by piece. A patrol is the most simple thing you can do. You find a beacon on the ground, hold E on it, hold interact, whatever your button is, and it will tell you whatever it is you need to do, such as kill a certain number of enemies, collect the items they drop, or run to a certain location and enjoy the scene. Scan the area for professional purposes, or go to a location and kill a specific enemy that spawned. Bounties work very much in the same way, and you can pick those up from the various NPCs you can find throughout Destiny. Moving on from that, we have public events. These are just as the name says. It's a public event that everyone can participate in. These are various different types, and you participate in this event and collect loot at the end. You can also turn these events heroic in order to gain additional loot. I'll let you figure those out, but a good tip is to look at the other players and see what they are doing. Chances are some will be acting different from the rest of the players, and you'll find out why once you see the words "Joined Heroic Event" flash across your screen. Or you could Google it. That always helps.
Stop it. Get some help.
Moving on, you have adventures and missions. Both are very similar as they both involve some sort of story to it. You'll have an NPC call you and tell you about something that's happened or that they need you to go do, and you go do it, and you follow the story as there's always something more to it. Adventures are pretty much point A to point B, but missions tend to have a little more meat on the bone. You can tell the difference between them by the icons. Adventures have a nice red icon with a sword in the middle, while missions will be blue with a crown in the middle. From there, you have strikes. Strikes are like missions, but even beefier, and you'll need the help of 2 other guardians to complete them usually, be it through matchmaking or going in and joining your friends. These are a bit heavier on the storytelling side and require a lot more effort to go through them. There's a big boss at the end and you kill them to complete the mission and gain loot. There are also tougher versions of these called Nightfall strikes, or Nightfalls as they're affectionately referred to. These are part of the endgame portion of the game, and there are varying difficulty levels. A big part of these is reaching a certain score when completing them, and once you complete a strike with the score surpassing 100,000, you gain a powerful piece of gear. Alpha. Once you complete a strike with a score surpassing 100,000, you gain a powerful piece of gear, and you can collect this once per week. If you can complete these reliably and quickly, this is the premier source of farming endgame materials and exotic gear. There are streamers that do entire stream days of just farming Nightfalls and gaining tons and tons of loot. Trust me, if you can do it, do it. Crucible and Gambit are the 2 PvP enabled activities, with Crucible being your typical multiplayer having both casual and competitive aspects. See Trials of Osiris if you're interested in more. Gambit is considered PvPvE. That means you will be dealing with normal enemies, killing the enemies and depositing motes in a bank to spawn a boss, while racing against another team doing the exact same thing, and both enemies can invade the other team to kill each other and hinder each other's progress. There's also a more streamlined version of this and more competitive version of it called Gambit Prime, but that is something you can figure out on your own. I've spent too much time on Gambit already. Finally, we have raids and dungeons. Raids are massive 6-player activities, and if you're participating in these, strap yourself in because that is going to take you at least half an hour. And that's if you have everything perfected, your team is working perfectly, you don't die, you don't do anything wrong, you just go in, kill everything, and you do a perfect run. Personally, raids are my favorite. I'm not going to lie, it is my favorite thing to do in Destiny. These encounters involve multiple bosses, mechanics, loot opportunities, ending in one big boss at the end. If you're struggling with raiding and you want to get better, or maybe just get a little more information on what a raid is, then you can check out my 5 tips on how to become a better raider. It's going to be in the top right hand corner of the video, as well as in the description. It has tips for both new and veteran raiders, so you should definitely check it out. I think it is worth your time. These raids will also have specific raid gear that you can only get in that raid, including an exotic weapon that most times will be highly coveted and highly sought after. Some examples include 1000 Voices, Taraba, Divinity, and Anarchy. I guarantee that even if you're new to the game, you know about those weapons. However, keep in mind, this is considered by many to be the end game. So come prepared with a light level worthy of the end game, otherwise the game will not let you launch the activity. Dungeons are basically mini raids, as they only require 3 people to go through, but have everything that a raid includes. You have stuff that you can only get from Pit of Heresy, from Prophecy Dungeon. You have to complete that in order to get the specific piece of gear. So go in, watch Datto, watch whoever that you like to learn about how a raid or how a dungeon is done, and then go in and raid your little heart out. I highly encourage it. It's a good time. There are also seasonal activities that you can participate in, and the game will practically yell at you about what these activities are. So keep an eye to the ground and you can easily see what they are. There's also a battle pass that will give you powerful items and gear, as well as some cool emotes and weapon skins that you can use. So definitely check that out. Now, we talked about gaining loot and light levels, as well as the various activities that you can play. But some of these things are level locked, so how do I get my level up? Well, it's very simple, and we'll get into it now. The game has what's known as a gear level and a light level. So what your gear level is the sum of your entire set of gear, your armor, your class item, your weapons, everything. All of that gets averaged out and brought to a single number, and that is considered your gear level. Your light level is everything involved, your experience, your seasonal artifact, which we'll talk about later, everything brought into one place. And that is considered your light level, and that is what the game, for the majority of the time, will use to determine whether or not you're worthy of getting into a certain activity, or if you're going to be absolutely getting, if you know what I mean. The game has also 3 level caps. It has a soft gear cap, a hard gear cap, and a seasonal light level cap. Up to the soft gear cap, any piece of gear you grab will have a chance of raising your power level. Once you hit the current soft cap, which at this point in time is 1050, you will need to grab engrams known as pinnacle engrams in order to raise your level, and that can be a long struggle while you're trying to get to the hard level cap. But if you want that little extra oomph on the way up to the soft gear cap, you can gain powerful engrams, which have different tiers and can be gained through the various activities that Destiny 2 has to offer, as well as prime engrams, which randomly drop in the world and will have a guaranteed chance to be higher than anything you currently have on at the time. Powerful engrams come in 3 tiers. Tier 1, which is a +3 boost to your current gear level. Tier 2, which is a +4 boost to your current gear level, and Tier 3, which provides a +5 boost to your gear. You additionally have pinnacle engrams, which I mentioned earlier, and that will drop at +7 to 8 above what you currently own. That is the highest that you can get right now. That is it. So this means that you're going to have gear of varying levels thrown at you at once, but how do you do that most efficiently? This is where a little thing called min-maxing comes into play. This simply means that when you get a piece of powerful gear that raises your gear level, note gear level, not your light level, up by any amount, you bring all of your other pieces of gear up to that level, and then you go for the next piece of powerful or pinnacle gear. This does not work for prime engrams, as the power of that piece is locked upon you picking it up. So let's say you have 2 850 prime engrams, and you just raise your level up to 851 by opening an additional one. You got everything up. You're ready to open those engrams. Problem is, those engrams will still drop at 850. It will not raise itself up to meet your current gear level. It will just stay there. It is locked. Sorry, sucks to suck. If you utilize min-maxing correctly, you will find your light level skyrocketing before you know it. Along with this, as I mentioned before, you have the seasonal artifact, which will provide a boost to your gear, culminating in your light level. This is raised by gaining experience, be it through completing bounties or completing raids, or just going around and having a good time killing other guardians in Crucible. Anything that you can do to gain experience will add to your seasonal artifact, which eventually will boost your light level up to a certain degree. The current light level cap is 1360, and I have not seen anyone hit that. So I guarantee it, you're going to come across guardians that are 1080, and you're wondering how to do that. If you're only able to get up to 1060 gear, that is how they do it. Gaining power in D2 isn't hard at all, and if done right, you'll be in the end game before the end of the week. No, easy, no trouble at all. It's also very easy to get into and play, but once it gets its clutches into you, it can be very hard to get out, and trust me, you won't want to, because you'll be having so much fun. You'll always want to get a specific piece of gear that maybe boosts your recovery more, or maybe you'll want that exotic weapon that just tears through bosses like wet tissue paper, or maybe you want to make a build where you just going through Crucible, just shredding people with a shotgun and just getting out of there before anyone can have any trouble with you. there's always something to do in Destiny. Either way, it's a great time to get into Destiny 2, especially with Beyond Light on the horizon. And I certainly hope I get to see you all in the wild. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped you out just a little bit. If you did, or if you're just enjoying the content, please make sure you hit the subscribe button so you know when I have more content coming out. And leave a like on the video and leave a comment. Let me know what was the hardest part of you getting into Destiny. I want to hear from you. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Much love, peace out, and bye!